Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Lewis here with Crypto Elite. It has been a minute since I made another video. I've been down in Colombia in Medellin for the last few months. It has been pretty cool, but I'm about to be leaving, and I basically was in the markets doing my thing up until around $48,000 when Bitcoin hit that 61.8 golden ratio for the Fibonacci. And that was the last video that I made when I said, okay, look, I'm selling everything now. And I really stopped, I really took a break after that because I didn't want to try to trade the chop, which typically happens when you over trade and you try to trade things that when you don't have an edge. And so I was waiting for another opportunity, and I did see that a lot of alerts just went off in the Crypto Elite VIP in the Discord group. So I'm going to be taking a look at all of those, and also I'm definitely going to be taking a look at the market because it looks like Bitcoin is on its way to a new high, a new local high. It hit the 61.8 golden ratio, it retraced from there, and now it's on its way back up. So is it going to bust through that and actually get to 50,000, 60,000, 70, 80, 90, $100,000? Is it going to make a new all-time high this year? Honestly, it's a possibility. With all of the net inflows coming in thanks to the ETFs, what is happening is that those ETFs, those funds, are actually buying up all of the Bitcoin on the exchanges. And yes, there are outflows in the forms of the FTX case, in the forms of the Mt. Gox reimbursement case, in the form of Barry Silbert in the GBTC, the Grayscale Trust. That was the previous trust for the ETFs. Now people don't need to use those. People don't need, institutions don't need to go through that or pay the high fees. So basically the GBTC is selling off billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and that is what's driving the price down, or what was driving the price down. But it looks like the net inflows are starting to actually overpower the net outflows, which is why Bitcoin is rising. So with all of that being said, what I really want to do is I really want to try to find plays that will outperform Bitcoin. So what I'm planning on doing is going through the charts of different cryptocurrencies against Bitcoin, because we all know that Bitcoin is going to go up, but what's going to outperform it? That's what I'm looking for. Yes, obviously there's a ton of different altcoins, but I'm going to be looking at pretty much all of them and trying to figure things out. I'm going to be looking at the charts. I'm also going to be looking at suggestions from Twitter, suggestions from different groups, suggestions from different places and different people that I know, and just comparing the suggestions with the charts, with the fundamentals, with the technicals, and hopefully picking some really good plays. So with saying that, let's go into not necessarily the charts just yet. What I want to do is I want to go into all of the alerts that just went off in the Discord group and check those out, look at those. And then I'm going to go into my Twitter and I asked the question, what coins are going to outperform Bitcoin over the next 3 to 6 months? And I got a lot of suggestions right here. So I'm going to be looking at all of these. And then I'm just going to go into the charts and literally just go right through them. So I have the Binance BTC market right here, and I'm just going to go down the list. There are quite a lot of coins here. And this is probably going to be a really, really long video, but it is what it is. I'll try to mark out timestamps, or I'll try to timestamp maybe important things, or perhaps maybe the different coins. And then you could check the link in the description below, or maybe a comment. Just check the comments and I'll post the timestamps down there. And yeah, I'm going to do that. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first coin that I'm going to start off with is GMX, and I'm going to do it against Bitcoin because I want to just get into coins that are going to outperform Bitcoin. So looking at GMX on the higher time frame, you could see that against Bitcoin, it's really just been abysmal since February of 2023. So from February 2023 to February 2024, which has been one entire year now, it has just been basically down only against Bitcoin. And so I don't really want to buy any GMX unless it comes back above this zone right here at 1171 sats, because then when it does that, it'll be back above the major support area, and I'll try to get in on a rebound and long with a lot more confidence compared to longing down here. And that is in contrast to this right here, to this long, which on the USDT chart, yes, it does look okay, and it does look like it could have a nice big pump up. And honestly, maybe on the Bitcoin chart, you know, it might pump up from these lows, because this is literally at the extreme low, at the lowest point it's ever been. And also on the daily chart, you could see that the RSI, oh, I guess, what was it, the weekly chart? Yeah, so the weekly chart, the RSI is ticking up higher than it was before, when there was when the price was all the way up there. And also on the 12-hour chart back here is the RSI so right here the RSI was at 8.81, and you can see that right there. So this is at 8.81, and right now the RSI is at 15, so it's a lot higher up, but the price obviously is much lower than where it was down here, so than where it was up here. So there is a divergence on the RSI. So I have some GMX right now, which is why I'm looking at this, and I'm not going to sell it because of this, you know, divergence on the RSI, and the fact that it's at the very low, and it's probably going to, you know, sweep this low and then move up a little bit. But I'm definitely going to sell it once it reaches here on the Bitcoin chart, and then I won't really want to buy it back in until it's at least above, I'd say above this level right here, or at least, yeah, above the 61.8. This is where I would want it to get to, maybe the 88, and then get it on a retrace so that I could outperform Bitcoin. So that's GMX. And so the next thing that I want to do, which honestly is the first thing that I should have done, is to go over my alerts. And so in the Crypto Elite Discord VIP group, you can see that I have a lot of alerts in. And this one went off. It said alert, get out for Ethereum, get out of alt positions. ETH is at the 61.8 fib retracement of the swing, the 38.2% of the entire move down, exit all markets and reevaluate. So if you click on it, then you could see that this chart pops up. And you could see that I made this chart, and right here was the 61% Fibonacci retracement. And if you press play, you could see that the price came up and it hit it, and then it formed a bearish pattern, and then it went down and it dropped approximately 20% from where I, you know, had the alert to sell. But now it's coming back up into it. So I had to make sure to tell everyone, I said, if you click on the chart, you know, you could see that it actually went off the first time that the price hit the 61.8 golden ratio, and then the price fell down. So it went off, that alert went off here, and then the price went down, but now the price jumped back up and is hitting it for the second time. So this alert, it's not accurate because this is the second hit, not the first. And so this is no longer a sell signal, and you really would rather wait to see if some selling pressure comes in. For instance, if this type of a candle happens again, say like next week, that would be a great sell signal. But right now, obviously, there's no sell signal right now. So yeah, we need to check the markets and just make sure that there is bearish formations that are forming on Ethereum or Bitcoin, you know, in order to actually be comfortable selling. But right now, it's definitely not looking like there's much bearish pressure at all. There's literally none. So yeah, I just have to wait for that. So that was the first thing that I want to go over. The second thing is apt BTC at major support. So here's another one. Let's look at Aptos against Bitcoin. And so we have Aptos against Bitcoin, and yeah, that alert went off, and it looks to be, maybe if I go to the start off on the weekly chart, it's obvious that it's coming down. So this must have been my alert. It's obvious that it's coming down into the zone, the demand zone. This whole, let me do this. This entire area down here is obvious. It's big demand. Because you could see that every single time that it came down, there's been huge wicks that have just shot the price back up. So I had this alert. Personally, I don't think that it's gonna like reverse jest from here, but I would love to buy some Aptos, trade some of my Bitcoin for Aptos if it happens to come back down here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll set some orders in for Aptos and just stack a bunch of orders in down in this area, because this is such a good, this has just been for weeks and weeks and months and months and months and months a very good demand zone. And so there's a lot of, it's almost as if they don't want the price to go below here. So let's check the Aptos USDT chart. So an Aptos against USDT honestly looks really good. So there might actually be a case for Aptos to buy some Aptos right now, just because it looks good on the USDT chart, and it also is nearing the demand zone on the Bitcoin chart, right? So this was the demand zone on the USD chart, and this, you could tell this is really good because it, came down and then resistance, lots of resistance. Finally, when it broke above this long diagonal resistance, it had a little bit of a fake move down before just like rallying all the way up, hitting the resistance again. And then right when it went above it, that's when you could say, okay, I'm going to wait until it retraces back to the support / resistance now, and then long it. So that's what I did. So I longed it. Let me get rid of this. So I longed Aptos, here, and really, it shouldn't fall. Aptos really shouldn't fall back below 7.44. Like, if it falls below 7.44, that would be really bad for Aptos, and I'd have to sort of rethink my whole, Aptos strategy. And honestly, even 7.9, if it falls below and closes below 7.9, that would be really, really bad. I personally wasn't expecting this crazy chop like this, but I mean, this is a descending triangle, but it's in an uptrend, right? This trend is clearly up, and it's forming this huge descending triangle on the support. And typically what happens is that when there's triangles or wedges or anything like that, it tends to follow the trend. Obviously, if this was an ascending triangle with the ascending trend, with the uptrend, that would be way better, right? But it's still, just because it's a descending triangle, that doesn't overpower the fact that it's still in an uptrend. It's in a micro downtrend, but it's in a macro uptrend, I guess it's in a super macro from the start chop, if you want to say that, sideways market. But yeah, I do think that I would rather buy Aptos down here, because then that would really fall more in line with the, Bitcoin chart, thinking like it drops a little bit more down into this big zone of, there you go, this big supply zone, it's a demand zone, right? And now it's in the demand zone for the Bitcoin chart. It'll be in the demand zone for the USDT chart. That would be a really good buy. So I think that even if you buy it now, I do think that it will be higher up than what it is now in the short term future. But this is still a double digit. 10%, is that really so much because now I'm considering actually buying it, you know, because it's a 10% on the Bitcoin chart and it's about a 13 to 14% on the USD chart. So yeah, it would be much better if you could buy it down here. If it comes down to $8, Aptos is a buy. That's what I'm gonna say for that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is go over Ethereum really quickly. And one thing that I don't like that I'm looking at right now on the weekly is this RSI getting lower and lower and lower, despite the price higher, higher, and higher. So that on the weekly time frame, that's something that I don't like to see, is this bearish divergence on the weekly. Also, I want to point this out. So we had 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4, 5, 6 weeks, over a month of nothing but downward price action back in April of 2022. And then we had this nice little wick right here. And I'm guessing that a lot of people ended up buying right around $2,000. Then the price, obviously it tanked well below that. And months and months and months later, we finally hit that, $2,000 to $2,100 mark, where probably a lot of people ended up buying, right? And because they bought here and then they were underwater for so long, they probably ended up selling at break even, which then drove the price down. Then the people who didn't sell over here probably sold right here, which drove the price down slightly for that 1 week. But there wasn't that much selling pressure, so the price ended up pushing up higher, right? And then when it retested that previous resistance as support, it ended up bouncing off of that support multiple weeks in a row. And then finally, we're bouncing off of it again. So ultimately, I would really want to see Ethereum back at like 2,000 to get super, super long, because this RSI is just really, really bad. It's not good looking. And then also we have the RSI on the daily and the stochastic RSI on the daily in overbought, like highly, highly overbought territory. Yes, if this is the start of some major bullish trend, it's going to stay in the overbought territory and just going to stay up here for, however long it's going to be. But right now, like, this area just doesn't seem like the place to long for me. Like, I'd much rather wait until it comes back down to, say, like this area down here, like anywhere where it bounced off of multiple times. Right now, it's good because it's just above the area where it got rejected off of, multiple times, and then fell back below and then rejected off of again. So there isn't, I guess you could say, the case for the bullish argument is that, okay, it rose above it. So now, as long as it's above this box, then that's good. So there's that case, but that's just the price. If you take into like other things into consideration, like the RSI and the MACD and just like the stochastic and other things, it's not the best time to buy. It's not the best area to buy, just from what I'm seeing, like just looking at it. It's massively bullish right now unless something happens. But yeah, for Ethereum, I would rather wait. Maybe, I mean, this is crypto, so things could just explode up, but I'd rather wait for it to at least come down to, tap this diag again, like this previous area of like support resistance. Maybe it comes back down here, tags this at 23,085 and then keeps on shooting up. But I mean, it's just had a pretty big run, so I don't really feel like buying it when it's all the way up here, I'd rather look for other things. And looking at Ethereum against Bitcoin, it's not that good. Like, it basically just went all the way up and now it's coming all the way down. It had a little fake out, but yeah, it's back within this zone over here, and I don't really like that. Let me get rid of this. Like, maybe if it comes down to the bottom, like at the bottom of that zone, like right here, that would be really good. But Yeah, Ethereum, it should have bounced. It shouldn't have done this like against Bitcoin if it was going to outperform Bitcoin. Maybe once it comes back down here, there's a chance, but that's what I would wait for. I think it would be sort of weird for Ethereum to just automatically just start outperforming Bitcoin like from here. Yeah, it could go up a little bit, but then like it's most likely going to go up a little bit, fall over, and like somewhere a little bit lower start outperforming again. Obviously, it's the markets. You never know what could happen, but you know, it just broke below this area, so there's a bearish market structure break right here, and the next bullish break is like right here. So yeah, I think this would be the area to long Ethereum against Bitcoin. And the next alert that I had was quant. So it says take a look at quant. So let me take a look. Let me see what quant's all about. So I have this quant chart right here, and this yellow box looks like it's the box that I want to start accumulating quant in. So if I press play, okay, now we're back into the yellow box, which is good. But the thing is, we tapped it. It looks like we tapped it right here and then had this rally up. And now we're like, you know, back into it. What I would like to see I would really like to see something like this inside of this box, maybe at the bottom of this diagonal, this diagonal line right here, like, because this was really big resistance for such a long time, right? So maybe if the price could come down against Bitcoin and then form some bullish hammer candle, sort of like that, like somewhere down here for the week, that would be a good opportunity to long quant in for increasing your Bitcoin holdings. And let me check the charts, you know, the charts. So yeah, I'm gonna have to keep on checking this to, like, you know, make sure, because it is in a really good zone. Obviously, this entire zone is the low of quant against Bitcoin. So if you could get something in on the low against Bitcoin, that's obviously really good. I do also like the way things are looking, like the indicators are looking. So first off, look at the, like, why is the MACD so much higher up than it was back here, even though the price is so much lower? Same thing for the RSI. The RSI is slowly climbing while the price is getting lower. So maybe we'll actually get some type of bullish price action on the Bitcoin chart. We'll have to look out for that. How about on the USDT chart? Well, that's a crazy trade. Don't remember. But, oh, that was from what I talked about before. Anyway, so on the USDT chart, it looks like this area between 190, I'd say 195, is the main support area that has been held up really well, like consistently. And as soon as it drops below there, you know, in the 80s, it just shoots right back up. So maybe if it comes back down to this, you know, area of I'd say probably 100 to 95, yeah, that's when I would want to really load up more on longs. I might just be being super conservative or something, but I'm just looking technically speaking. I mean, that doesn't really look that good, this gigantic head and shoulders type situation, followed by, you know, this move down here. It usually trickles much lower after that. So can't really say that quant is a buy for me here, but if it drops down into this zone like 97, I think that's a really solid buy for quant, just simply because that has held up so many times. November 2023, even though that was the bull market, it also in August of 2023, July of 2023, June of 2023, May of 2023. So even when the markets weren't like popping off like how they were back in October, November, December, the 95 to 100 range for quant always seems to hold up really, really, really well, minus this little dip right here, which was more so possibly for just some type of manipulation or something like that to get people to wash out before sending it. So yeah, I'm going to have to put an alert in for quant down here in this zone so I could, you know, buy some once it gets down here. And when it does, I'll not only look at it quant, but I'll also look at quant against Bitcoin just to make sure that everything's looking pretty good. Okay, so the next alert that I had after quant was Bitcoin coming into previous highs, look for short opportunities. And this is going to be a really big lesson for people. So let's go into US, you know, Bitcoin USD. And look, yes, it's at the previous highs. Let's go to the daily chart. And no, this is not the... So this is a good chart, right? And yeah, it's coming into the previous highs, sure. But where's the shorting opportunity? Remember my alert? My alert says look for shorting opportunities. It does not say blindly short the market. Now, if you're looking at this, maybe right here, there's still 2 hours left, but it does look like this might actually be a shorting opportunity. Before this happened, this were massive green bullish candles, right? But now we're fine. We may be two more, depending on how the next 2 hours play out. We may actually get a swing failure pattern above this top right here, this giant wick. Also, a overbought RSI and an overbought stochastic RSI and a fairly high MACD. In fact, the last time it was this high was right here. It was the previous top. So things are looking like we might actually start to roll over from here. So let me just update my Discord group real quick with this. Okay, so this isn't a confirmation short. This is a very risky short, so I'm only going to risk 0.5% on this one. But this is the first time in a really long time that, in days really, that on the hourly chart, Bitcoin has actually had a bearish looking candle with the SFP right here, a long bearish wick candle, and the oversold RSI and the MACD also, you know, just turning over, right? So there are some things that are saying that this might be the local top, and you know, this is only it's 5.3% drop, which might actually be sort of a lot for where it is right now and how strong everything is, but I'm willing to take it because it's a really good RR of 3.68, and I'm only risking 0.5%, right? Also, if you zoom out, you know, on the daily chart, you could see that my take profit is right at the top of where the previous resistance was. So this is like a good support now. Resistance. So it's probably turned to support, and that's where I'm going to try to take my profit. So I'm not trying to like be super greedy and say we're going to go all the way back down or anything like that, like all the way back down to the lows. I'm just thinking we're going to go to the support resistance. You could, however, if you wanted to be more secure, wait until this, you know, hourly diagonal support area breaks, and then get in to a short position right here, sell right here, or maybe even wait until it bounces back up into a bearish order block and then short that. But I'm just gonna take a chance because I'm not gonna risk a lot on this trade. So that is Bitcoin right now, in the short term, micro view, right? And looking at it on the higher time frame chart though, like honestly, like this is bullish. Like what do you want me to say? This is super bullish. I remember posting something in my group that was about Bitcoin. Basically, if it reached a certain area, then like if it came back up to a certain area, then I'd want to long it. So let me see if I could find it. See if I could find that on my market cap list right here. I don't know. Yeah, so once it fell back below here, I said, okay, on the daily chart, if it pumps back above these lows on the daily chart, then that's a good long. And I would say, long from here to here, and then take profits here. But like after this happened, now it's just been like crazy bullish, right? And so now based off of what I just said in my other, what I just said about it finally looking sort of bearish on the 1 hour chart, that's pretty good. And I think it'll come back down to here, hopefully, and then pump up. But overall, yeah, this is massively bullish. It had a range deviation above the range, back down to the range low, all the way back, another deviation above it, and then all the way back down to the range low, a deviation below it, and then all the way back to the range high. And now, do you think we're really going to get another deviation above this range high for the second time now? Like there was already two, and that doesn't really happen that often. Usually there's one above, one below, and then above, and then cracks above it. But there was one above, two above, and then one below, and then now it's back above it again. So yeah, I don't see us going much lower than 44, 44,500 at this point. Like if it does decide to come back down to this area and retouch the top of this range. All right, after this after this Bitcoin alert, I have NEXA coming into major support, possible double bottom buying. So let's check out NEXA. All right, so that's what I put here. So let's look at NEXA. First off, let me look at there is no NEXA Bitcoin chart. So I'll look at NEXA against USDT. 12-hour. When did this go off? This went off today. So not totally sure. This was at NEXA USDT 5385. Okay, so 5385. What is going on here? Hold on a second. Let me check this out. And this is on the NEXA. I wonder why this went off. Yeah, so to be honest, I don't know why that alert went off, because NEXA is not even like it's not where it says it was. But also, I'm looking at NEXA against Bitcoin, and it's just like, yeah, NEXA against Bitcoin looks like absolute trash. So I don't really want to buy NEXA because it just looks like total garbage. Like if NEXA did something like this and it came all the way up, then I would look to buy say like right around here, because this was the low and then there was a low, so it's support, broke down support, had to be resistance, and then finally broke all the way back above it. So if it came back down to the support, resistance turn support, which would also be this, bullish breaker, then yeah, I would want to buy it. But right now it's still underneath. It's still under this major support on the Bitcoin pair. So I don't really want to buy it unless it's back above here. So yeah, I don't know why the next thing actually went off. Yeah, so maybe if it comes back down to this major, this major support, I'll buy it. But right now I don't want to buy NEXA because I don't really like it. I don't really like the way it looks or anything like that. It's still, in this downtrend. It hasn't broken. It hasn't broken through this diagonal. It just doesn't look that good to me. So I'll buy it if it comes back down to the support one more time. But I don't want to buy it now because it's probably, it has a potential 15% drop, if not more, if it drops further than that. I do like how it's above this major support area. This was major support, fell back below it, resistance. As soon as it broke above it and retested it was off to the races, right? So back in November, it was great. So maybe that'll happen again. So let me just write this down. Maybe it'll fall back below here again to, to soak up some liquidity, then you can buy it. But if unless that if this doesn't happen, then that's not good. If this happens, then I would love to buy it if it pumps a little bit back up and reclaims it again one more time, or if it maybe if it or if it just comes back down here, it would be a good buy. Anyway, that's NEXA. The next thing was to check the alert for the total market cap hitting the 38.2 resistance, and it says selling now will be buy lower. This probably is going to be the same thing that happened with Ethereum, where this is the second time that it's hitting this resistance. So I have these levels plotted out on the total market cap, and it should have come up to here. So okay, so yeah, this is definitely interesting. So the crypto total market cap, it is at a very, let me just go into the actual charts. It'll be easier. So crypto total market cap, this is what I'm looking at, right? Crypto total market cap. Yeah. Go to the weekly chart. Okay. So yeah, looking at those weekly chart, this is what happened. It fell all the way down, got into it, here at the 2021 yearly highs, and then yearly close / open, and then the 2018 top. Then the market cap really just started to come up. So December 2022 was the low, and then starting in 2023, it started to move up, and more money has been flowing into crypto ever since the beginning of 2023. So I think people took their profits in 2021, and the sell-off just continued to happen. Basically, let's just say January 2022. Let's just say right around here. So all of 2022 was bearish, just everyone a big sell-off for one full year. Then for one full year from 2023 up to 2024, it's been nothing but bullish. So bearish for 2022, bullish for 2023. And remember the Bitcoin cycles, if we go to the monthly chart on Bitcoin, it's typically, well, you can't really lay it out here, or see it here because I didn't put it out, but typically it's let's just do it. Yearly. It's 1 year down, and then 3 years up. That's the 4-year cycle, right? 1 year down, 3 years up. 1 year down, 1, 2, 3 years up. 1 year down, 1, 2, 3 years up, right? So this year and then next year it should be an up year, and that should be the final year. And it's typically the last year that's a really big top. So this is also why 2025 I think is the year. Look, this is before the drawdown, the first one in 2014, right? Right before the big drawdown in 2014, there was a huge rally. Right before the drawdown in 2018, there was a huge rally, right? Right before the drawdown, well, I guess, hold on a second. I was going to say the drawdown in 2022, this rally wasn't as big, you could almost say that it started in 2020, that the big rally was really like 2020, but still there was a huge move up right before the big drawdown. Also, I should change these I should change these styles from this color, because this is literally like the color of my chart. So I'll make the halving orange, because that is the color of Bitcoin, right? So changing all the halving cycles to orange. Okay. And then, okay. And if you don't know what this chart is, I've gone over it multiple times. So you can probably just check my other videos for this. I'm gonna remake these videos, because they're important. But typically what happens though is that around the time of the halving, the price does tend to stagnate and then go down a little bit before rebounding and having that blow off top, right? It's just because, like, take a look at this. This was like 1 week. It after the halving, it went down a little bit and then had the blow off top. And then back here, if I bring this up a little bit, 1 week during the halving happened. It went down for 1 week and then it went up. I guess back in 2012, that wasn't the case, but I think that will probably stagnate a little bit during the halving, and then it'll go up from there. So I'm super bullish, and I really don't expect Bitcoin to fall back below $40,000 again. I mean, technically $38,000. I really wouldn't expect it to fall back below there, even up to 39. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna stick with 39. I really don't see Bitcoin going back below 39K again. Just given the history and the fact that it's a halving cycle, and that's typically what happens. Is like maybe we have one bad week after the halving, but then it's usually just up only from there. So I'm just gonna stick with that, and I don't think that Bitcoin's going underneath 39,000 again. Yeah, so we have the total market cap, and also I looked at the alt dominance. So looking at the total market cap one more time, just like on a shorter scale, on a lower time frame, yeah, we hit the 38.2, and then we had the dump in the total market. But now with this, like, this weekly candle is honestly sort of crazy. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money coming into the market. It's the same thing like this one. Like, after we had weeks of down, down, and then we formed this diagonal resistance. Once it broke above it on the weekly, we just shot up straight into resistance, the first resistance, that is. And then it was like nothing. We just went right through it, right up until the next resistance, which was right here. And then we fell below it, went above it, and there was lots of inflows, lots of outflows, lots of outflows. And now it looks like the inflows are really coming into the crypto market, and there's 2 days left, and it's really looking like the crypto market is on a path to 2.112 trillion. It's really I really think it's gonna go up there, and once it reaches here, this I'm selling. I'm definitely selling a lot of crypto right here, because this is the 61.8 of the entire move down. And this is exactly how I was able to sell at, Bitcoin at this top right here, because I did the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, 61.8 right there, boom. And so I sold it right there, and I think the same is going to happen with the total market cap, because this was the 38.2, and there was some resistance at the 38.2. So I think at the golden ratio, there's going to be a lot. So I'm definitely going to sell a lot of crypto right here, but I'm definitely going to rebuy it, because I do think that we're heading up to 3.29. And to be honest, probably I'd have to do the fib again. But I don't know why 3.29 is my resistance right now. It seems like this is actually the more resistance. So 3.52 is the bigger resistance. And maybe if I pull a full-on Fibonacci from the top, oops, that was not Fibonacci. Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, excuse me, from the bottom to the top. 3.69, that could be one. Bottom, top, bottom. Yeah, 3.6, just somewhere around 3.54 to 3.6. This is a huge resistance area. So once it reaches here, that's when I think the next market top will be. But we still have a long way to go for that. So that was the total, right? And then let me just check the total too real quick. So total two, so the crypto market cap not without Bitcoin is actually doing pretty well as well. So I do think alts, I think alts are primed to continue to move higher because of the inflows into altcoins as well. But what I want to do is I want to check the dominance levels. So this is the altcoin dominance level, right? And you could see, whoops, sorry, let me get this back up here. You could see that in December of 2023, we had a really good week in the very first week of December. And December, basically all of December was really good. It was November was great, December was good, and then January is when it started to go down, right? So, and I mean it's reflected right here. I don't like the dominance. I don't like this on the dominance chart because typically, you know, we have one move back down and that's it to this support area. But now we're having like a second move back down to the support area. And I had the dominance hitting 38.2%. So where is that? That's right here. Okay, so yeah, this alert, maybe I should probably just take this alert off delete this alert because this was the 38.2 and I put it right here when it hit it the very first time and it bounced, right? And then it came back up and it hit it right here and it bounced, it went down from there. And let's see, bounced up, came up, bounced down, had the resistance, and now, you know, it's already played out. I don't like to play this out multiple times. You know, 1-2 times from the support and the resistance is good. Now it's just, what do you call it? Trucking, trading, ranging, chopping. There you go. I had to go through like 10 different fucking words. Chopping around here. So the next, honestly, okay, total market cap looks good, like with the inflows. The total 2 looks decent, looks pretty decent with the inflows as well. The total in the, not DeFi, the total in the crypto market cap in terms of dominance levels though, does not look that good. It doesn't look that good for alts right now because I would love to have seen like, you know, a bounce from here, maybe a move below and then a move back up and then it hold above this level. This is a pretty big level, you know. So the next real level that I see is the 44%. Let me get this right here. 43.76% to be honest, to be accurate, which is the 50% of the Fibonacci. And then of course we have the most likely area to get hit, which is to get into alts, which is the 61.8 golden ratio right there. And let me bring this to the center of the back. Yeah. So this is the most likely area to get hit, for alts to bounce from. And if altcoin dominance does reach here, I'm going all into alts, go heavy into alts like Psi, Sui, Injective, Tau, and other ones that have been outperforming and doing really well at this area because I think this is the best area for alts to bounce from. So dominance not looking too good for alts. Total looking decent looking good for the entire market though. So can't really say too much more about that. And then finally, the last alert that went off was the alert for LSS, which was lossless. And if you click on it, then you could see that I had a trade set up to go right here. And if you press play, the price came all the way down, and I suppose it missed my initial buy-in by about one hundredth of a percent before moving up and doing this insane, I don't know, if it, moving up 72%. Quite the annoying thing that happened there. But then it came all the way back down, and finally my alert must have gone off, and so we are up. Like, if someone did take this, they are up, but my alert was, it should be obvious, it was set for this right here, not for this, but it's still, apparently it's a good trade. And honestly, looking at LSS right now, it's going up here, putting this up here. I guess other people, maybe other people also wanted to buy it at this price, which is why it went up. But it is at a very good, it was at this major support. This is like a lot of the other ones where it had this like major support area, fall below it, use resistance, and then, come back above it. And then technically you'd want to have this on the weekly time. If you're looking on the weekly time frame, it would look like this, and you would have it be underneath here, the stop loss underneath here, and then target, looks like target the highs right here. That would be this. Honestly, this is not a bad trade. Let me see. Yeah, there's no LSS against BTC, but maybe if I do this, no, LSS USDT, BTC USDT. So against Bitcoin, it's not, let's see, this is the major support, right? You could tell from all of the wicks that come every time that it reaches there, it comes up, deviated below it, went back above it, bounce above it. I don't like it against Bitcoin though. That's like one thing. Yeah, I don't really like it against Bitcoin. It would have to come back up above here for me to want to get back into LSS, because why not just get into Bitcoin? If it's, although look at this massive weekly bullish divergence on the RSI. That's really good. So maybe lossless is not a bad choice right now. Yeah, it actually seems pretty good on the weekly, and maybe even on the daily, this might be the low against BTC. So yeah, I would say to be on the more safe side, you'd want it to pump up, here against Bitcoin, and then before getting in, so that it doesn't have this big resistance. But also the market cap's so little that it could really do anything. So I don't think that this is a bad move, a bad trade. I think that this is good. If it does happen to come back down here, maybe I'll actually put a trade on for something like this to potentially catch the bottom on this lower market cap, cryptocurrency, and potentially make 92%. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for LSS. I think it's pretty decent. I think it's a decent trade. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the coins that were suggested on Twitter when I asked what coins are going to outperform Bitcoin over the next 3 to 6 months. First one I want to go over is Clore.ai, because this is one that I've never heard of before, but apparently it came out in July of 2023, and it had a huge run up, which is great, and it had a nice fall back down, which to the 61.8 to the golden ratio, and now it's sort of just been ping-ponging between the 61.8 and the 50% fib back and forth, right? So this looks like it's legging up it's gearing up for the next leg up, which is great. So I just bought some of this. No clue what it does, but I do. Well, I mean, I did look at this for a second, but I do like World War Bitcoin, and he does a lot of research into a lot of different coins. So I am confident in his picks as well. And this looks like it is a distributed supercomputer that fits your needs. Access GPU computing nodes from community members all around the world. So you can harness the power of high-end GPUs for efficient, scalable AI model training, compatible with various deep learning frameworks and prioritizing data security. You could also boost your cryptocurrency mining speed and profitability with powerful GPUs while avoiding high home energy costs and maintenance hassles. And then also you could achieve professional grade movie rendering with our powerful GPUs that significantly reduce rendering time and are compatible with various rendering softwares. I have no idea how this actually works. Everything that runs in Docker runs on Clore.ai. I don't get how you could have distributed GPUs and that would help like lower rendering times for videos, unless maybe, I guess, if everything is put into the cloud. I mean, it has to be. So it's not like your actual computer, like you still need an actual computer. I'd have to do more research into this to really, see what the deal is with it. But like I said before, I do trust World War Bitcoin, and I'll have to see what is going on with Clore.ai. Maybe, I mean, shit, it's has anything to do with AI. I like it. So yeah, I'll have to this will have to be a research thing. But yeah, that's that. The other ones that I have were Sol, Tia, Injective, Psi, and Sui, or Say and Sui. So let's start off with Sol, and let's look at Sol first. Let's look at Sol against Bitcoin, because that's the main thing. And obviously Sol has been outperforming Bitcoin since pretty much of June of last year. So for definitely 7 to 8 months, it's been outperforming Bitcoin by 400, almost 500% at the peak, 400% right now, or 350% right now. So yeah, I would have to agree. Solana probably is going to continue to dominate. I don't really, I mean, I guess I understand why. Did not really get too much of the meat of this move, but this area right here definitely seems like a very, very key area for Solana against Bitcoin, because you have this low right here, this rejection right there, all of these rejections, so much rejections right there, and then basically the support that's been holding up as support right here. So yeah, if Bitcoin if Solana falls against Bitcoin back down here, then it'll form a triangle and it'll just be like this. Bring this up, and hopefully that will be the bottom, and then it'll rally from there. So yeah, I will set some alerts for Solana if it happens to fall back down to this area, this major support resistance area against Bitcoin. And if it does, then I will be buying it. Now, against USDT, this is the weekly. Let me go to weekly bullish order block. Was right here. It tapped it, and then shot up. Go down to the daily. We had somewhat of a bullish candle, followed by this candle, which is okay. So now this is bullish. It's great. Had the SFP, and even got a ability to possibly get in on a little bit of a retrace, followed by the move up. This right here was very bearish. And then, you know, once it broke down below here, that was pretty bearish. But it did seem to, or the bullish breaker right there did hold. And because of that, the price is now much, much, much higher. So this is sort of looking like what Bitcoin was looking like, isn't it? Like there was the range, you know. Sorry, I don't know why that was drawn like that, but there was the range and then the low. Did I just make that up? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just thinking deviation below the range, followed by move up to maybe a deviation above the range, followed by to not even hitting the range low again, now back above it. So yeah, Solana is looking super bullish on the USD chart, but against Bitcoin right now, I would just wait. I would want to wait just a little bit longer and get in when Solana comes back down. The only issue is that it hasn't come back down. Like it just tapped it, and that was it. So yeah, maybe it won't actually reach this level. That's a tough one. Very, 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 very tough decision to just, you know, ape into Solana or wait. I mean, right now, we have this resistance, and I mean, some type of bullish. It's like a bullish triangle inside of a potential. It's a ascending triangle inside of a potential descending triangle. But it. Hold on a second. I don't know why this. Yeah, now I'm looking at this. I'm like, why was this drawn like that? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Solana, I would have taken from the low to the high, looked for the 61.8, boom. Yeah, definitely a tough read on Solana right now. I mean, seems bullish. It seems super bullish. Like you could even just honestly just do this diagonal and play the diag. I don't really like playing diags, but yeah, I mean, the RSI is looking good. The stochastic's looking good. MACD is moving up. Everything seems to be going positively for Solana. Not to mention the fact that they had an outage and the price did not even flinch. It actually went up. So yeah, apparently Solana peeps don't care. So yeah, against Bitcoin, it's looking pretty solid. Against USD, I mean, yeah, this looks good too. Yeah, I mean, Solana might be the one to just fucking ape into Solana, you know? Ape into Solana at $107. When it was at $30, $10. Holy shit. Was it at 10? Did it? Yeah, it reached $10. That was the low. I mean, not technically $8. That was the fucking low is $8. That's nuts. That's crazy. Back in January of 2023. So yeah, getting into Solana would have been the move for sure. For sure. Ansem really crushed it with Sol. But I mean, this was so bad. This was so bad. Can you imagine? Like, you have to have balls of steel buying this, and then holding it, especially when this happened. Just say, yeah, I'm holding it no matter what, you know. At that point, but that's why people who buy and hold the strong dips, they outperform the traders almost every time. Because I mean, you would have gotten a 10x if you would have just bought this crazy dip. Just buy. Except you would have had a held since November to December, over a month. Can you imagine holding for 2 months? You have to hold for 2 whole months your position, and just like you're underwater. You're just underwater by quite a lot. So yeah, Solana. Sad face for me for Solana, because I kept on missing my buys. Like, I think I went to buy it here, 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 and just never retraced for me. So sad. Okay, so for Solana against Bitcoin, pretty much it had a huge run up, right? And it basically formed a bottom here, and then it broke that, fell down here, formed a bottom, rejected from the previous support, now resistance, fell below the new support, and so this entire area basically is support. Hit the resistance again, got rejected. Hit the resistance again, got rejected. All the way back down to support, came all the way up to the resistance, did a swing failure pattern, and so now the target is down here. The target is the support again. It kept on hitting the support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. So the next place to look for against Bitcoin is the support. If it falls back down to the support, I'll be a buyer. If it keeps on going up, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Fibonacci to determine the best area to get into. Not just the Fibonacci, but everything, right? So that's what I'm thinking right now. I will wait until Solana it potentially comes back down to the lows in order for me to get in. If it just, keeps on going higher from here, well, then I missed out, and I'll have to think of something else. So that's Solana against Bitcoin. And then for Solana against USDT, like, the RSI is way overbought, just like how it was right here. The stochastic is way overbought, just like how it was right here all the way to here. And also like how it was right here and right here and in this whole area over here. So yeah, all of this is overbought, way too much for me. And not only that, but it looks like the RSI is forming a divergence, a bearish divergence, this way down while the price is up, right? So I'm absolutely, positively not going to buy Solana right here. In fact, if I happen to see any weakness in Solana, I'd probably short it. But the market is insanely strong right now. Even you could see on the 4-hour chart, it was overbought for a long time and days, just over and over and over again. It stayed in this overbought territory. So maybe it's just gonna keep on going up. But for trading, this is absolutely not a place that I want to buy into Solana, So if it comes down to, say, $100 again, that would be really good, because not only is that a huge psychological number, but it's also the 61.8 golden ratio of this move up, and I'm just going to have to keep on adjusting my Fibonacci if it happens to keep on going higher, and then I'll just try to get in at the golden ratio. Or if, like I said before, if it happens to come down here, then I'll just start stacking in Solana down here. So that is Solana. Okay, so the next coin I want to go over is Psi Network, and this one is one of my favorites, and it's crazy because it's up. It went up 800% or something insane like that. I mean, from the bottom of where you basically could have gotten in to the top, it's 830%, which is just like insane, right? So basically 700, you could have 7 to 8x'd your crypto, your Bitcoin, by putting it into say anywhere around the bottom in October of 2023, right? And so I don't know, it's like it's already up 7 to 8x against Bitcoin, and it only retraced it did not retrace an insane amount. Like, it never reached the 61.8 from the, even if you take it from the very, very, very top. And if you take it from the standard level, I guess this would be it right here. It hit the 38.2. Wait, no. It came up, right? And then it came back down, hit the 38.2, made a new high against Bitcoin, but then fell, right? It made a swing failure pattern and then fell back down below it, and ended up closing below the previous high, like right here, which is insanely bearish. And it only fell back down to the 38.2. Well, technically it fell a little bit below the 38.2 and then stayed there for a little bit and then jumped back up. So against what kind of, hold on a second, what is, I don't know what that is. Against Bitcoin, this, it looks like this level right here, 1393, is insanely some insane support area against Bitcoin. But it's like, it doesn't seem like it should hold. It doesn't seem like this should hold. It seems like say against Bitcoin should come down to at least 1100 sats. And so I'm not totally buying this pump. And also look at the weekly time frame. Like, if you look at the weekly time frame, this is super bearish, and then this is also super bearish. So it's like, it doesn't make me want to buy it, but looking at today and yesterday, like, I have this weird feeling that it's just going to keep on going up. But you can't base your, TA off of feelings. It has to be off of analysis. And the other thing is, like, okay, look, this, just like all the other ones, the stochastic RSI is way overbought, just like how it was right here. And when it was overbought last time, it fell. What about the time before that? So right over here, it started to get overbought. It did rise up a little bit further, but then it ended up falling further than where if you would have FOMO'd in, right? So you could have FOMO'd in here once the stochastic RSI was above it, but eventually it fell back below, and that would have been, so you would have lost unless you just took your profits really quickly, right? Last time and the time before that, the stochastic RSI, I guess the time for that was right here. So you could see that the RSI and stochastic RSI were way overbought, and it only fell a little bit, and then it ended up just like rallying up and rallying. It got overbought again, but it didn't really matter. It only fell a little bit and then just kept on, the RSI just kept on hitting overbought, but it didn't really matter until the stochastic really came up to the highs. And so looking at this, like this level right here, you wouldn't have been good FOMOing in. This level right here, you wouldn't have been good FOMOing in. This level right here, I'm guessing you would not be good FOMOing in. It seems like it's going to go up a little bit more and then turn back over. And it's like, that's technically what I'm seeing, is that that's what it wants to do, is it wants to go up a little bit further and then turn over so that the RSI could go into the overbought territory first and then fall. And that's on the side, say, against Bitcoin. So I'm gonna still hold my ground. And even though this, I'll leave that on there, even though this is a major support area, it just doesn't seem like that was it. Like just a little, really small move down and then a huge move up is in the works again after a 7x against Bitcoin. It just doesn't seem like that would happen. There's still one more day left though, because this is a pretty bullish, this is a bullish pattern right here. So maybe if this closes up here, then yeah, you could enter long. But man, against Bitcoin right now, it's in a downtrend, right? This is the high, this is the low, this is the high, this is a lower low. So I'm thinking lower high and then another lower low against Bitcoin. And once that and eventually, you know, it'll hit down here, or maybe it'll hit the 50% and then move up. I don't know, but I don't want to buy say right now. Like I want to buy it. Like I have FOMO to buy it, but I just don't see why I would buy it after such a huge 14% candle in just one day. Like I would much rather have saw that maybe, you know, the price came up to this resistance area, went above it, came back below it, went above it, and then bought it like right there. I think like buying right there, obviously buying right there would have been good, but now it's all the way up here. And like if this is the support and this is the resistance, it's in no man's land right now. So you can't, like buying it would be really stupid, buying it right here, because it's closer to, first off, it's closer to this resistance, which is obviously back here as well, and here as well, and here as well. So it's closer to a midline resistance, plus it's in no man's land between the actual support and resistance, the bigger support and resistance. So unless it comes back down, and everything's overbought, right? So unless it comes back down, I don't think I'm really interested in it right now. The only thing that I'm thinking is like just the fact that it's been overbought, like, and just keeps on going up. Like it's overbought, goes up, overbought, goes up, overbought, goes up, overbought, goes up. Like it's not, doesn't seem to be registering, right? And a lot of times when that happens, that means that something is going on behind the scenes, and there's like big money buying it. So it's a tough position to be in, because you want to buy it because you see it just going up and up and up and up, and you're like, oh shit. But at the same time, like it's in no man's land. It's close to the midline resistance. I'd much rather buy it somewhere over here, and the chances of you losing money if you buy it now are greater than if you were to buy it if it was all the way down. The only other thing I could say is that maybe, you know, it's already February, so it's been a month. It's been a month since it hit the bottom, so maybe that's enough time. But usually I don't think that's really like enough time. So I don't know. I would love for it to come back down against Bitcoin, maybe back down here. That just seems so much better to me, is if I could get it somewhere down here by the previous support area, you know, where it bounced off of multiple times here, all of these areas down here, all of this, and then had the resistance, and now, you know, hopefully it'll be the support. So yeah, that's SAI. I'm gonna wait until it either comes back down here, or I'm missing out on the trade because it's just gonna go parabolic. But that's what I'm gonna do for that. So now for SAI, or SAI against Tether. So just like I said, you know, it had this massive run up, and yeah, I do think it's going to continue to outperform, but I think that it's going to go down further. Like it looks like it wants to go up. It definitely looks like it wants to just fucking go straight up to 80 cents. But yeah, this was the previous, you know, top, bottom, top, deviation below the range, hit the mid, and then back to the low, back to the new low, and now back to the new high. So if you look at it in terms of I guess from the top to the bottom, Well, even actually thinking about it, let me or looking at this, if you got to go down. It's like, when did this happen? That's the question. Did it reach this first, or did it go down first? Okay, so it flushed everyone out first before jumping up. So really, this was the high, and then this was the low. And then back to the high. Back to the low. Close to the high. Back to the low. But so now it's either going to be close to the high or reach the high before back to low. But like, yeah, it looks like this is the range, is really from here to here, and it's in the premium zone. So it's not a good buy right now. It's simply not a good buy. I don't care if it keeps on going up another, 12, 15%. It's just, you can't buy it right now on as a trade. It has to come back down. So I ended up putting an alert in down here, and I have another alert in down here also, just to make sure, just in case say does end up coming back down to the big support area. That would obviously be a nice long opportunity here, and then definitely a long opportunity down here as well. But yeah, as it stands right now, I'm not going to FOMO in. I'd rather wait and not make money than FOMO in and lose money. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait on say. And next up we have Sui. So for Sui, this is, I really like Sui. Don't really know like why, but I am drawn to it. Like, I'm just I feel like Sui is something that is very powerful, that it's going to do really, really well. So I like Sui. Definitely is a big buy for me if it happens to ever come back down to this area again, which, it definitely could in the coming weeks. It's coming up to its all-time high right at, just under $2. So it's almost there. So on the higher time frame, this doesn't look like a good area to buy, because what are you going to set your, stop at? Like down here, 50% almost, and it's only 10% away from the resistance. So you'd have to go into the lower time frames. So going from the weekly down into the daily, we have this very, very nice looking uptrend. And I guess this was the weekly top. So this was the weekly top, and it went to the daily top. Really what happened is I went to the daily top and then fell back down. So even though I like the weekly top, the daily top is what was hit. So we have that, and then hold on a second, let me bring this to the back. So yeah, if it comes back down here, that's a buy for me in this area. This almost looks like a cup and handle too as well, but yeah, I mean, this is the resistance, and it's closer to the resistance, so I can't really buy it right now. Maybe putting these up. It's also, overbought in the RSI. Last time it was this high was after this happened. So came up, came back down, and then shot up. So sort of a difficult one to measure. This right here is the daily bullish order block. So perhaps right here, if it happens to come down, getting into a long, something like this. That's actually a pretty solid long. So yeah. Now the question is like, is it going to come back down and give it to you? You know, that's something that's probably not going to happen. But if it does, then it would be, yeah, it would be a really good. It would be a really good bet. Yeah. So this hit the 38.2, super bullish. So just like say, I can't buy it right now because I don't buy big green candles. But if it happens to come back down here, I'll throw on a trade. I'll look for a long setup right here, and then if that fails, like, on a lower time frame, then I'll just start buying in at 1.4 down and just do that because I do like Sui, but that's Sui. Sorry, that's Sui against Tether. How about Sui against Bitcoin? Okay, and now looking at Sui against Bitcoin, we have let's go to the daily. We have the daily top against Bitcoin back up here, which is still 30% higher. It's just, oh man, is it just gonna pop up, like do a big pop up like that, like this, and to go straight up there? Or are we going to have an opportunity to actually get in on it again? I mean, this was very weird. This was, I mean, this was technically the bullish order block right here that stood its ground, but then it hit the resistance again and came all the way back down. And typically when it does that, it falls a little bit further. So I'm just very surprised that Sui just went up 15% more than Bitcoin did yesterday, when Bitcoin went up like a tremendous amount. And now once again it's at the resistance, except it's like, maybe hopefully this is going to be like this giant move up followed by, and it looks super bullish, followed by moves down, right? As opposed to this one, up, lower, and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then we get the wick, and then we get the bearish candle, and we get another wick, and then another wick. It still didn't even really fall that far down, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5-wave structure, right? And typically this is where it's going to land, somewhere right around here. Like, I really would have thought this is where it was going to come to. But I've basically gotten front ran on everything because of what happened yesterday. So yeah, I'm not in a Sui trade either. And what would I think? I mean, do you want to buy it after after it goes up 16% in less than a day? In 12 hours? I mean, damn. Yeah. In 12 hours, it goes up 16%, and then you're gonna buy it. It erased an entire. What is this? This is 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. Whatever. Like, I'm a little agitated because I really wanted to pick up a lot of Sui if it fell lower, but now it's up here, so it's like this was the top. This was here, top. How far did this fall? 50%. Okay, fell to the 50%. Shot back up. Fell to the 38.2%. And now it looks like it's, on its way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. It's just such a hard thing to actually plot out, to actually trade. I want to trade it, but it just goes straight up, and then resistance, right? And overbought. So yeah, no, I will buy it if it comes back down to the support area, the demand area. If it comes back down into this box, that will be a buy. I guess it's a good thing that it went up so quickly, so I don't have to like wait. Just watch it go up and up and up and up and up. It went up, I missed it. So now it's gonna come. If it comes back down, I'll grab it. That's literally that's the gist of it. I'm going all the way down to the 4-hour time frame. So that's really all I could do is this. So yeah, I'll put some alerts in down here, and if it happens to fall within this zone, I'm gonna have to buy it. Let me throw this a little bit higher up, bring the front. So yeah, obviously it's not a good buy right here. It's at the resistance after a huge pump up. So that's SUI. And the last coin that I'm gonna go after is TIA. I'm gonna go after more tomorrow, but right now I'm looking at TIA. This is TIA against Bitcoin. It's it's up 550% over what Bitcoin has done since November of 2023. And on the Tether chart, this is what it looks like against USD. So it's literally been nothing but up and to the right. Like if you go to the weekly chart, it's fucking insane. It's just like 2 weeks up, 1 week down, 4 weeks up, 1 week down, 2 weeks up, 1 week down, 3 weeks up. It's up and to the right only. So yeah, it doesn't really look like TIA is going to have any major correction. I mean, it's literally just going up and to the right. So TIA is probably the only one that I see right now that may be a good buy, simply because if you take this line, you could see that this is the clear support right here. If it breaks below it, then that might be bad. But as for right now, it's holding steady, rising up more than Bitcoin is, and it's been doing that since November. So like, I wish I knew about these freaking coins back then. Like, how do you even? I mean, with research, yeah, it's just a lot of research, I guess. I should probably do a lot more research instead of trading. So I do have most of my coins in a long-term investment account, but I should probably also do a lot more research to put a lot more into certain cryptocurrencies and maybe trade a little bit less. I don't know. I'll have to figure this stuff out, what I want to do. Right now, I'm really just trying to create presentations and hold what I have. And if I see good trading opportunities, like for instance right here, when this happened, that was a really good trading opportunity. Let's see if there was another one on TIA. I guess once this came up and then once this came back down into this area, that was another really good trading opportunity. And I don't really see anything on the daily chart for TIA that's like crazy. That's like, screaming like, oh yeah, definitely, it's definitely a buy, to be honest. But maybe if it comes back down and the RSI and stochastic RSI go into the oversold territory, or it hits the 61.8 or something like that, then that would be really good. That would be a great buy. But it hasn't really, it's like never hit. It's like never hit the 61.8 except for on this one wick, this one time. But typically, like, look, you take it from the bottom to the top. Oh, did this actually hit it? 361. And what is this? This is, let me bring this up. The low of this was 359. Okay, so this would have been a perfect. This was a really good opportunity to buy TO right there. That would have been a great. So yeah, I guess there are opportunities. there's always opportunities. It just, you would have had to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and then wait and wait and wait and wait, and finally, get it right there from January 8th to January 23rd. So, a couple of weeks. And other than that, I guess you did have this one back here. You had this one right here that when it came back down into the bullish order block. So, just be patient. Be patient. Let's say you missed this big run up right here. You could have taken the fib from here to here, 61.8, and eventually gotten in on this wick. And same thing from the very, very first. With the very, very first one, actually, look at this. Holy crap. Yeah, wow. There's actually mad opportunities. There's been crazy opportunities with TIA. And it looks like every single time, it literally looks like every single time it's gone back down to the 61.8, except for this run up right here. This was it. This was the only run up where it did not come back down and it hit the 38.2. But other than that, it hit here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back down. It hit it here. This would have been a real mess. This would have been like, you would have thought that it would have kept on going up from there. But regardless, it did hit it. Same thing once it came back up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then boom, right there. So yeah, okay. So looking at it just where it is right now, on the USD chart, this is a pretty obvious area. This is a really big support resistance right here. So we have this huge resistance, deviation. And so to me, yeah, if it falls back down to this area, that's definitely a buy for me. But also it's at the support right now. So it's also a buy right here. And that's against Bitcoin, against the dollar. Very, very similar. The only thing I don't like is how this is so overbought, just like everything else. But for the dollar, yeah, it is looking... it looks good. It came back above, and now it's consolidating above the resistance. That is, like, this is the only one that I would buy out of all of them right now. And that's going to do it for this video. Hope it was a good one. Be sure to like this video if you did watch it this far through. I would really appreciate it. Check the links in the description below. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And stay tuned for more analysis. I'll see you in the next one.